Let's join together in prayer. Precious and loving God, as we find ourselves in another new day, as we sit in beautiful places to have restful conversations, we ask for you to help us find the places that we can regroup, rethink, restructure. Be with us, Lord, and in your Son's precious name I pray. Amen. The song that I just played for you, I want to focus from it the concept of one, refocusing, two, the times we get distracted, and three, the people that help us refocus. Now, I may not go in that exact order, but there is so much going on right now that is clamoring for our attention. And I look at violence for the sake of violence. I look at violence for the sake of power. And I look at these situations, even within our 24-hour news cycle, it's really developed to keep us off balance so that we're not thinking things through clearly. And when we have not been thinking through things clearly for the number of years that we have had, the really harmful side effects of that. So let's look at the distractions. This is the order that we'll actually go in. We'll look at a heavily distracted world. We'll look at the necessity of stopping and regrouping. And we will absolutely look at the ones that help us rebalance and maybe not so much the ones that keep us off balance. And that's really important to know who those people are. When I look at the news and we look through social media, we read threads, we read X, we watch news bits, we listen to podcasts that flavor one side or the other of news. And we see multiple varying viewpoints on the same things. We see really intense divides over those same issues. And the way all those things are laid out, it really does put us in these places that one, we've lost the middle ground, but two, we always remain on the defensive because that we've lost the middle ground. It's hard living a life that we are either constantly scared or we constantly find ourselves on the defensive because when we exist, I almost said thrive. There's no one thriving right now. When we exist in these places where the middle ground is gone, where we're either constantly in fear or we're constantly reacting to things, we're going to end up in arguments. It's just the end all conclusion of it all. Uh, I've shared this on these videos. I've shared it in sermons. Many years ago, I went through this process of mediation training from the Lombard Mennonite Peace Center. And a part of that training came this idea there is this arc. I've shared this with you before, but I want you to hold this imagery in your head. There's this arc that we have a low reactionary response to things, and then there's this leveling up to the highest peak of reactionary thought, high reactionary thought, and then it levels down to the conclusion. So it's this waving arc of how that we deal with things. And the goal is to gain this low reactionary response that we kind of keep everything on a level line. But where that I see things nowadays and why it's so hard to stay focused on just peaceful mindset and peaceful conversations and so forth is I see a world that not just keeps us at these high reactionary places, but this arcing arc, instead of being one low line, it arcs up, and it just keeps going up. It never arcs down. And it's really hard to be people of peace, to be faithful, peaceful people when the arc never crests. It never goes down. I literally see this trend through social media, through politics, through the quest of being right, that it never arcs back. It just keeps going up and higher reactionary responses. I see that. I also see this distraction in such a way that the distractions keep us focused in one very specific area, and we never find the middle common ground in it at all. I know this is also a narrative that I used with you before, but it's painful because now I am starting to see this creep into my regular everyday conversations, and not so much the just what I see on the news or what I read on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or X or Threads. I when I used to go to the gym, and believe me, I know that I need to go back. Um, One television that I ride the bike, one television had a progressive news network and the other had a conservative news network on. And they would be talking about the same story, but in one, it would say peaceful protesters alined the streets of Minnesota, and then the other would say riots break out in Minnesota. That it would be talking about the same news, but the narrative would be that radically different. We see it all the time on X, on Threads, on Facebook. These vocal narratives that push towards that we truly do right now exist in this world. That it is this reactionary arc that is supposed to crest back down, but again, we just see it just keep going up and up and up. And when you stay at that, we get to where we are, to the now to the point that I see these distractions move into my normal everyday conversations, the text I get, the things that I talk about in pastoral counseling, the narratives that I go through. I put myself in places where people are experiencing this arc, and hopefully trying to be a person that goes into those places that we can recreate the crest. And last year, especially at a couple of the last couple of school board meetings last year, I have even seen in myself the arc isn't crescent. It is this continued climb. And we need to have a place to regroup. Here's the second part of this conversation. Without our places to regroup, only harm can come from this. This place, that reactionary response, just keeps having control and keeps having control, and it keeps going and it keeps climbing. It's unhealthy. One, it's physically unhealthy. The hypertension, anxiety syndromes, heart complications from rapid levels of stress. It is physically unhealthy to exist in this world where our reactionary response just keeps going up and up and up. And a lot of times I've seen, especially in the text, especially on X or Threads or Facebook or what have you, that people want us to keep on this climb by continuing of having aggressive conversations. And I see one side try to be peaceful, and I see the other side respond in such a way, no, you're wrong. I see it both ways. I see it from the progressive and the conservatives, both wanting to still prove the other person wrong, which only keeps us living in this world where reactionary thought just keeps having control, and we keep climbing this reactionary scale, and it's scary. The reactionary scale of control is thriving right now, and it's really hard to find places to break away and find peace because, well, we don't know when the harm is going to pop up. When I think about ICE raids, when I think about what the harm that I have visibly seen in Minnesota, when I see the murders that I have been had to see on Instagram and Facebook, and it's it keeps us at this point, and the places that we used to skip away to hide that this arc, not this crest, but this climbing mountain of reactionary thought actually takes away those peaceful places. And we have to intentionally create those peaceful places. I think about Christ, and I think about every time just before Christ went to do some kind of major ministry event. Every peak point just before that Christ did something huge is Christ broke away. We look at Christ going into the wilderness, and yes, even though that Christ was tempted by the deceiver in the wilderness in that time, he still stepped away in that moment. Before Christ calmed the storms, he was asleep in front of the boat when Christ, before that Christ was arrested, he broke away to pray on his own. And Christ strongly displays these moments of breaking off and allowing ourselves to have a place of rest because Christ knew that we can't live in this climbing arc of reactionary thought. We have to allow our life to dip back down and become normal. And if we're blessed enough to really step out of those places of reactionary response, just keep everything level and cool. So we have to break out of those places. We have to break out of this. So we can't find our places of rest. So now we get to the third part. If we can't find our places of rest, we need to find the living examples of what it means to be peaceful in the climb. There's a quote that I'm using in the sermon that I'll be giving at church this week at the time of this recording, that it's Bono talking, and it's peace isn't the absence of war, peace is the quest of social justice within that war. One of the things that we all really need to have is our own personal mission statement. Christ had a mission statement to be the redeemer of the world. Every church within its creation creates a mission statement. This is what we're going to look at. This is what we're going to focus on. This is what we're going to thrive on in this time of ministry. Because when we have a mission statement, we have this ability within the hardest moments of our lives to be able to find a way to stay in a non reactionary state. Now, I butchered Bono's quote. One of the things that I like to say is peace is not the absence of harm, it's being able to be calm in moments of harmful concerns. We need to be able to find those levels of peace, that non reactionary level of peace, because there'll be things constantly that come to try to pull us away from our mission statement and have us remain in this reactionary quest until we rocket our brains into the moon. And if we have our mission statement, if we have this focus in our lives, we will reach reactionary levels, but hopefully we'll crest back. That's one of the things that I'm really hoping for when I go to the school board again in this new year is to help things crest back. I might even use elements of what I've shared today because I see it at school board meetings. I don't quite see it at the city council meetings. I actually see from the city council within our worship area this ability to be in this non-reactionary place during the meetings, and it's at the end of the day, whether they listen to the community or not, at least it appears that they're listening to the community. So anyway, when we see people that set those examples, we can see the people that are thriving in this non reactionary place that's trying to get us to be high reactionary all the time. Fred Rogers is my prime example. One of the videos that I used to like to show in Bible study, and I might end this video with this video. Dave Letterman it was is my favorite all time talk show host, and Dave Letterman was a snarky person that always poked at people and things. Not so much to get a reaction from them, but it was his form of humor, his snarky humor. I always loved Dave Letterman, and there's this video. I'll try to find it and I'll put it at the end of this video of Dave Letterman talking to Fred Rogers. And Dave Letterman is being his snarky self, but Fred Rogers, non reactionary, calm, and cool the entire time. We need to find those people because, again, it's unhealthy. We're watching our culture fight itself because we remain in these reactionary spaces. And we have to, for our own good, find the places to break away because we can't live within this. We have to be honest that we're going to have reactions, but we need to find the places of peace and calm that we can let it resolve and move back into a non reactionary place. So I'm going to end this video today. We're going to let Fred Rogers show you all what it means to be a non reactionary source. And may the peace of the Lord Jesus Christ be with you all. God is love. Amen.
Thank you very much. For close to 20 years, millions of television viewers have been visiting Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. His calm, cool, and flappable demeanor is now legendary. Take a look at this piece of videotape.
See that? Looks a little like a teepee, doesn't it? Of course, a teepee is a real home for some people. Yeah. See how it works. This is pulling out right there. It is. Helps to have two people to put these out. Come. Let me try it once more.
Please welcome Fred Rogers. Thank you. This is for me?
Yeah.
It's very nice of you. This is Mr. Rogers' T-shirt.
There's the trolley.
Very nice. Thank you.
Here's a sweater, and here's some shoes.
Okay. Did you bring some for everyone?
Yes.
Now, that sort of thing, I was surprised to see that that ever happens. Much of that go on behind the scenes on your show? Goof-ups?
Sometimes things don't go right in the neighborhood. But I did get that thing up.
Oh, good, good.
Yeah. You can see that someday.
But often things, or not often, but occasionally things get a little goofy. Yeah.
Yes, in that next program that they're going to show on that blooper business, there's a chimpanzee that gets out of hand.
Yeah. What was, you have provided hours and hours of entertainment and education for young people. What was your own childhood like, your early years like?
I was an only child until my sister came when I was 11 years old. And I had to make up a lot of my own play, my own friends. And so I would dip into my bag of puppets and make them talk. King Friday the 13th, you know, speaks like this.
And Lady Elaine Fairchild would be glad to be here.
Did this bother Mom and Dad? I mean, you know.
That I would speak to myself?
Yeah, you were sitting in the room, maybe talking to yourself. But,
happily, it didn't.
What is, then you got into television early, didn't you? After...
30 years ago, I came right here to NBC and was a floor manager right in these studios. I remember the Horn and Hard Art Children's Hour in this studio. It was terrible. People would bring their little children and make them perform. Do you remember it?
No, I don't remember that. Was it a network show or a local show? Or?
It was local.
And they would just bring kids in and let them, yeah. Any other shows that you worked on that...
Well, the Hit Parade up in 8H and the NBC Opera Theater. My degree was in music. You know, I write all the music for the program. Incidentally, Paul, we don't have enough time for that song. That's what they told me.
Told you not enough time for the song? Okay. Well, maybe you and Paul can get together after the show. And I mean, if you rehearsed it, no sense in wasting the song. Now, it's interesting. I believe you pointed out the irony of the fact that in this building now, where you started out your broadcasting career, there is now a show that occasionally has a performer doing an impression or an imitation of you.
That's right. I just met him a little bit ago. Do you think we could see that?
Well, certainly.
Eddie Murphy. There's Mr.
It's Mr. Rogers there in the, yeah.
On the left.
On the left, yeah. Now, how do you react to that? We talked to Andy Rooney about someone doing an impression of him, and he didn't seem too keen on it.
Well, some of them aren't very funny, but I think that that a lot of them are done with real kindness in their hearts. Do you think that? Do you think that's true? There is one person on radio that really bothers me, though. I've heard it. It's somewhere in the Mid-South, and he tells children in my voice to do such things as get their mother's hairspray and their father's cigarette lighter and put them together. And he thinks that he's talking to adults, but he's really talking with children, and I think that could cause a lot of fires.
Yeah, that would...
Well,
that's right.
You know, it's good.
You're exactly right. It would blow up. Yeah, it would burn and be highly volatile. You have... I'm sorry you're out here so late. I would like to ask you to come back. And you have a show coming up on PBS, just briefly, if you want to mention the nature of the program.
The Week on Discipline.
And it's...
There's a parent special on discipline, and the whole week of children's programs, the first week of March on discipline. You know, discipline is caring, just like love is caring. And they're both as important as the other.
I want to thank you for being here, and I hope you'll come back when we ask you. Fred Rogers, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.